Hello and welcome to Backpage Pass, Game Week 23, where we look back at Premier League Game Week 23 and ahead to Game Week 24. It's a very special day for one of our regulars. It's Luke's birthday, so he isn't here. He's with his real friends somewhere.
What a loser. Here's where the party's at.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We got him cake.
I was going to get him a cake. And then he didn't come.
You should have got him a cake, and then I'd have hid behind the door, and when he came in, I'd have pelted him with it.
But he didn't come.
No, so.
If you buy the cake.
But then we could have eaten the cake.
It made him feel guilty that you'd bought a cake.
And you pelted him with it. And he didn't.
We should have bought the cake and then not eaten the cake. Take a picture of the cake going off. Oh, look the cake going off.
Such a shame.
Anyway, I'm John O'Donnell, and I'm joined by Owen Grace and Mark Corcoran, because it's not their birthdays. It's his birthday.
Yeah, I wish it was now.
But anyway, in honour of Luke's birthday and the Phantom Cake, we'll begin with talking about a cakewalk.
What day to have your birthday? Like January 23rd.
Yeah, it's just,
What
I
kind of
never
day is
thought
that?
People had birthdays in January.
No, the poor day.
Is that 9 months after Paddy's Day? I always think what happened 9 months before someone's birthday. Like mine, September. So the end of January. There's not much to do.
Yeah, it's cold outside.
Stuff is going to happen. When's yours? October?
Oh, May. So sort of August. Could have been anniversary or Kieran's birthday.
Kieran's birthday. Your brother's birthday, definitely.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
But that's not a reason to celebrate in that way.
It is in his house. Anything. Sundays are the reason to celebrate in that house.
My dad finished work early, so he celebrated with 3 cans of Guinness last night.
My dad finished work, so that's his excuse. When's your birthday?
August.
Is that 9 months after Halloween?
No, that would be December.
What happens in December?
Nothing. I win. I was immaculately conceived.
So, anyway, the
Immaculately.
beautiful link that I'd written, in honour of Luke's birthday, we'll begin with a cakewalk that took place at the Manchester City Stadium, and that was Manchester City 2, Fulham 0, and it was basically just run-of-the-mill for City, wasn't it?
Well, it was good to, if you're a City fan, you would go to see Silva back to somewhere near his best, because he's been a bit quiet this season.
He has.
And
It's the 4-4-2, I think.
yeah, because he normally would like to kind of roam around a little bit off the front. But very nearly got a hat-trick like a minute after his second goal. But that's a very promising sign for them. But again, at home against Fulham, it's not really the game to be doing it in, so they'll be looking to see if he can carry that on in the coming weeks.
And Owen,
Yeah, it was
Silva.
promising to see him. He hasn't really chipped in with goals enough as much as City would have liked, and he had a couple of chances after his first one as well. So if he starts scoring, it'll help the strikers as well.
They also want to see him link better with, because there's a few players for them this season that haven't shown the form that they had last season, like Aguero, who's obviously had injury problems, Balotelli, even Tevez I don't think has been as effective as he was when he came back last season. So if he can kind of be the player that knits everything together like he was last season, that could really help them.
Well, as I say, I think it's the formation. It's kind of he has to go around behind what would have been Yaya and Barry, whoever, probably Yabiga's here now. Go around behind them to get any space. So it's hard to. I know the whole job is creating space, but he has to get the ball first. So he's going to move infield behind his midfielders and go ahead of the midfielders. And it's a whole big kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of kerfuffles, I don't know. Liverpool 5, Norwich 0. So I says last week, I think Norwich are well organised and therefore capable of, giving Liverpool a game. And I completely forgot that Liverpool have been trouncing Norwich regularly in recent history.
Yeah, it was very one-sided from the start of the match. They created chances for the first 25 minutes, and it looked like it was going to be one of those games when Liverpool had all the chances in the first half, sort of third of the game, and then blew it, but they got the breakthrough with a great goal from Henderson.
And Bunn was in goal for Norwich, and Liverpool really rocked Bunn, didn't they? It was no fun for Bunn, eh?
You have Buns
It
on your
was
birthday
unbelievable, what? Norwich were Bunn done by Liverpool, weren't they?
Just get them all out.
Or was he Bunn lucky? I'd say El Bunny was hopping mad by the end of that game. Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say Bun is a birthday thing too. Buns?
Buns?
Yeah, like hot cross buns.
You have
buns.
hot cross buns on your birthday?
Like, a little light. Well, I used to as a child.
I
those
had
little
cakes.
light. Well, is bun not another word for a cake?
No.
Yes, it is.
A bun is a very specific cake. It's a small one-person cake,
Yeah.
but also a bit pastry-ish.
No, it's not
Whereas
pastry.
a cake...
It's a miniature cake that one person can
No,
have.
a cake is soft in consistency, whereas a bun, you gotta bite through that guy.
So fairy cakes.
You couldn't eat a bun with a fork on its own. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You could, yeah.
Is it sort of
Fairy
breaded?
cakes? Like those little kind of small.
Yeah.
To me, that's a bun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Forgot
well,
about
then,
fairy cakes,
you have a point there.
Sure. You can all just feck off.
Yeah, well, Mark's done us there.
Yeah.
Don't like bun.
Which Mark Bunn or Mark?
Anyway, on the last podcast, I said that Daniel Sturridge was going to score, and he did score.
He did.
So I think he'll score for.
Sturridge, when he was on loan at Bolton, I don't know if I said this last week, he became the 6th player in Premier League history to score in all 4 of his first games for a club when he was at Bolton.
Yeah.
In Premier League games. So he
two
has 2 now.
There's
There's 2 more, and he's done it for 2 clubs. Probably the first person to do that. And if he goes to 5, whoa.
Well, he's only 2 games. Liverpool's next game is
Arsenal,
at
so-
Arsenal.
He can score against Arsenal very easily. Sturridge against Mertesacker.
See, I'm thinking, is he going to start?
Doesn't matter if he starts.
Well, no, it doesn't.
He didn't start against United. He came on.
Yeah, I
scored.
know, but that decreases your chances.
It does. Well, I think he has every chance. I'm not
Okay.
backing that boy.
Okay, yeah.
Set
Should
a
put
record.
money on it.
I'm not backing him that much. But he's making an impact, though, right?
Yeah, great impact. Good start. 3-3. Like that's what they wanted. A bit of support for Suarez, who's still scoring as well, which is healthy for the club.
Well, just a perfect example of how he is impacting is the second goal where he just stepped over.
Yeah.
The Liverpool have the type of players, the awareness to actually, first of all, be in that position, and second of all, just let it run.
It also allowed Suarez to be out wide, coming in off the wing,
Yeah.
which he seems to prefer to even playing in front, where he was getting loads of goals anyway.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Am I allowed? No?
Go ahead.
What do people think of Joe Allen? Is he having a good season?
He's having a bad season, but he's a good player.
having a decent season, and he's a good player, I'd say.
He's having a bad. Whenever they take him off, that's when they do well.
Yeah,
When he's not playing, Liverpool do better.
that's fair enough. He didn't start, I don't think, in the weekend.
But Jordan Henderson had a horrible start, and he's starting to play well.
Yeah, because he has to prove himself. Rogers told him and Downey at the start of the season they had to prove themselves, and maybe there's a bit of pressure on Allen because they spent so much money on him.
They didn't spend a whole lot on him, did they?
15 million, like. For,
Yeah, it's a lot for him.
Yeah. So, well, like give him a chance. I suppose he's a hard worker, and that's what they want in the team.
It's a good start. Moving on, Newcastle 1, Reading 2. And Newcastle can't afford to lose games like that.
No, they can't. How did they lose that game though? At home, goal up. Fans really seemed to be backing them when they were goal up, and just how did that happen? Like I didn't. He seemed to be cruising.
Well, Kabay had to come off because of an injury.
And that actually derailed everything because of the way the fans reacted. Maybe it was because they saw who was standing waiting. But even as Kabay was starting to run off, and people realised he was coming off, that they got angry. So they didn't actually realise he was injured.
Well, he was limping around the place. You could see beforehand.
Yeah, well, it seemed to kind of derail the team that they were winning, but there's all this negativity coming from the stand. They were winning at that point, or was it 1-0?
1-up, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
So it kind of seemed to derail things and undermine the confidence.
Reading got the goals pretty soon
Yeah.
afterwards. Jimmy Kebe played well. It's great. All the players I say who are good, and then everybody goes, "Oh, I don't know about that." They always play brilliantly against Newcastle.
You should just marry Jimmy Kay.
And Gaston Ramirez.
Yeah, Gaston Ramirez can
He's
be
gonna
like your
hammer
best
us.
man.
Well, like, Theo Walcott's great. No, he isn't. Yeah, he is. Bang. Swansea 3, Stoke 1, and everybody was, banging on about that the Guzmans finished off this great team move. And I remember looking at the move going, meh. And then I realised it was against Stoke, and I was like, yeah, well done, the Guzman. Well done, you.
Well, good win against Stoke. More like how often you see Stoke conceding 3 goals, aside from the big teams.
Not too often, no.
I couldn't think of that many times, even away from home. So that kind of makes it doubly impressive, I thought. And also when your lesser known left back scores his first goal, triply impressive.
That's the way he's in front of everybody. Like, the ball's breaking back and he's like, yep, come here. I'll have some of that.
Yeah, it was
Fluid.
very fluid performance from Swansea. They got to show how their passing game is still working against a team that are normally very solid. And the Guzman's second goal was a brilliant goal, I thought. The way he finished it as well, under pressure.
So, it was a good goal.
Michael Owen scored as well. Which was,
I was happy about that.
He was happy for a second when he celebrated and realised
He's like, yeah,
3-1 down. Yeah.
But he set some kind of record though in scoring that goal.
150 Premier League
Or
goals.
not like a broker record, but personal record.
Personal.
So he's obviously like, yes, great day for me, as usual.
He has a massive scoring bonus as well. Swansea didn't have amazing possession or
entire
territory
wage.
or anything. What?
His entire wage, like.
Yeah, well, he is pay as you play, so he's probably pretty decent scoring bonus as well. What was I going to say? Swansea didn't have an amazing possession in this, like they usually do. They just seemed to catch Stoke on the break. So, well done, Swansea.
Fair play.
This is Stoke's idea is we'll soak up pressure and hit them on the break, and Swansea went, no, we'll do that to you.
Suckers.
Yeah. West Ham 1, QPR 1. Loic Remy scoring the opener. Can he drag them to safety? The dirty money grubbing.
No, he's going to be he's going to be offside when they really need him to be.
Yeah, he was offside a lot.
Yeah, he was just
A lot.
just happened to be onside the one time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you look at him, he comes in. He for Marseille, he had scored one goal so far before.
But he hadn't been playing a lot.
Okay, but even that's not great.
Yeah.
So QPR have moved Cisse on to
Al-Gharafa
in Qatar on loan.
Good show.
Yeah, and he showed me up. I was just going to say club.
Somewhere in the Middle East.
So he's been moved on there, and last January wasn't he brought in
to do what Loic Remy
yeah,
brought
so
in to do
it's
this
like
year.
it's not like there's no guarantees about anything if as Cisse has shown, like, so you have to do way more than score a goal again away to West Ham in a game that QPR got battered in, for there to be any kind of real signs of hope for them staying up.
Yeah, and West Ham really did hammer. They put in 56 crosses. Now, can you think of a striker who would like to be on the end of 56 crosses?
Peter Crouch.
Carlton Cole.
Captain Cole is awful. You know what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, the big man, of course, Andy Carroll, non-existent again.
He didn't play.
That's why he was non-existent.
He fell off his bike. Leave him alone. Shamak was in there.
Maybe
Shamak actually played okay.
Maybe if Andy Carroll had a better goal scoring record than Shamak, you could get in the team. You know who's looking a great signing though? Joe Cole. Like, he just looks at the forefront of everything. Maybe it's just because it's West Ham and that's his team. But
Or
what were
maybe
they
it's just
doing at Liverpool?
Maybe it's just a little burst of
Energy.
now I've got a chance. I'm going to show it.
But even at Lille, he had quite a good run there.
It's the French league. No, this is
Joey Barrett is running that league apparently at the moment. And Joey Barrett.
Well, all the Newcastle players are coming out of that French league.
Yeah. Alain Pratou was the new manager.
Or New Chateau.
No, that's New House, right?
No, apparently that was the joke on Football 364.
Chateau. Anyway, Wigan 2, Sunderland 3. Sunderland are flying now. Fletcher hadn't been fully fit for a while. He seems to be up there now. So now you got him and Johnson both going full pelt.
Yeah. How do we think what's his name's going to work out? Graham from Swansea, if he goes there. I don't think that's going to be a good
I don't think
sign.
he should go there.
No.
He'll just be on the bench behind Fletcher the way he's on the bench behind Michu now. At least he can play with Michu. He's not going to play with Fletcher.
See, the thing about Sunderland is, like, earlier, when they were going through their pretty bad spell, we were kind of saying they've so limited attacking options. And now we're saying if they buy Danny Graham, he's going to sit in the bench. Like. So, like, what's the answer?
Get a young player on loan.
They just gave Fraser Campbell to, who was it? Cardiff.
Yeah, they sold David Myler for buttons.
Yeah.
I know he's that striker.
They wanted Welbeck again, and so did someone else.
You can't have Welbeck. Welbeck's playing.
Yeah, but
You can't have a player who's playing.
That was just newspaper talk.
oh, was that well then?
Well, Reading wanted him as well. If you don't,
Good
As
luck.
if he goes Reading.
Yeah. But why would you let him go through? I don't know. Especially when Ferguson always goes on about having 4 strikers. But anyway, that's not the point. Danny Graham to Sunderland. Bad idea, good idea.
Bad idea for Danny Graham.
Good idea for Sunderland, of course.
But
Have
then
that
the-
backup.
But then they got to spend big money on him and pay big
Yeah.
wages to keep him on the bench.
No, it's not a good. Yeah, it's not very
I'd say
viable.
if they could get him on loan, yeah.
That'd be a good idea. Yeah.
And in a period of time when they are scoring quite a few goals.
Mm.
So, anyway, that's not the point of the question that was asked of me.
I wouldn't do it if I was Danny Graham.
No, but of your question that was asked of me.
What was your question? Well, my question to you.
It was about the 3 goals that they scored.
Was it? Are we happy with Danny Fletcher? Danny Fletcher? Stephen Fletcher.
Well, he's been a great sign for them. Was it 12 million?
Yeah.
That's got to be pretty good value.
Adam Johnson. Good. Happy.
They played well, yeah. Wigan played okay for the first 15 minutes. They were 1-0 up. And once they get the penalty away, they sort of just fell apart and 3-1 down at half time.
Mm.
And then
Enriquez. What are we?
new striker, yeah, from Man U on loan. Looks okay. If he can
Yeah.
come on and score a goal, he's only 18 and 19.
I think he's going to be a great sign for them.
Sunderland should get Makeda.
He's going to a Spanish club.
Elche, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well then. Too late.
But what I was going to say, what did you say?
Enriquez.
Enriquez, yeah. I think he's going to, like when Cleverly went to Wigan last season before, I think.
Yeah.
He had a great season there.
Yep.
I think this could be quite a similar thing.
Martinez is good at bringing players on.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think that could be a masterstroke for them. Could even keep them up if he works out there. Actually, I saw an interview with, or it was a press conference with Martin O'Neill, just going back on the Danny Graham thing. I think Danny Graham is from Gateshead.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
He's a
Oh,
Newcastle fan.
The question was, how would a lad from Gateshead do for Sunderland? And I was going to pose the question to you, how would a lad from the Gateshead of Sunderland do in Newcastle?
I don't know. I don't know if Sunderland has suburbs.
Okay. If a staunch Sunderland fan signed for Newcastle,
They
Yeah,
wouldn't
I'd
be a
have,
stand.
I'd have Adam Johnson. Yeah, I wouldn't
is he
care.
not a
If he's-
Middlesbrough fan?
No. He
From-
played for Middlesbrough when he was young,
from
but
Sunderland.
he's from Sunderland. I'd rather have a good player from Sunderland than a crap player.
Didn't Michael Chopper, he's Welsh though, isn't he? He
No, he's from Newcastle.
yeah, he played for both clubs.
Yeah.
But he's never really loved though, was he?
By Nida,
He
really.
was, and then what happened?
He went to Sunderland, I think.
Yeah.
Second, and then
That was
forgotten
the end
about
of
that.
Poor chops. He has bad
He
gambling.
just couldn't get in the
debts.
team. He wasn't good enough. Poor lad.
But
He's a
in the-
championship level player. He's brilliant in the championship, gets up to Premier League.
He's addicted to gambling now.
Yeah.
Poor chops.
Lost his wife. Let's stop talking about that. West Brom 2, Aston Villa 2. Agbonlahor
Such a transition.
Agbonlahor playing as a centre forward instead of a winger, as he has been recently. And that seems to be making a difference for him anyway.
Not for the team, no.
He scored. It was 2-2. He scored the
Yeah,
drawing
you
goal.
can't. If you're going,
Yeah.
you can't have a 2-0 lead and then
Lose it.
drop it in a derby. Although you were away from home, so
Away from home to West Brom.
you probably
You're better than
you probably have
this season.
you probably would have taken a point before the game.
Yeah.
But it's a sickener to get the result that you would have taken for the game and be disappointed.
Yeah. I suppose they were a bit lucky in the end. Did you see that thing that Otto Winge hit the shot?
He hit
from
the shot in,
halfway
yeah.
and it was-
Yeah, but he wouldn't have taken that shot had the referee not blown up the whistle.
I don't know. He must have known the whistle's about to go. Maybe.
No, it went pretty much straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sunday games.
I was just going to say, great to see Steve Clark portraying emotion at the equaliser. He doesn't usually.
He has been just looking like a man in a Steve Clark mask for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Chelsea 2, Arsenal 1. Do that again. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 1, and I wasn't convinced that was a penalty. And then Gary Neville backed me up at half time. He didn't think it was a penalty either.
Well, just when it was live, when it happened, it looked like a penalty, but in the replays showed he sort of played for it a bit.
He played it left to his right behind him and then fell over. I was just like, Szczesny
Chesney, it's
I got this right.
Shit
I thought it
Szczesny,
was
yeah.
Szczesny because I heard
Yeah.
certain people saying it, but it is Szczesny.
Yeah.
He just stayed still and fell backwards, so he didn't put any forward momentum. So that's not really a tackle; that's more of a block.
Mm.
And if you fall over a block, you're an idiot or a very good diver.
I always lose massive respect for people who go around a goalkeeper and dive. Because, especially if you don't take the penalty, there's your chance to score a goal in a big, massive game, and you would rather dive. Because you can't, like, as you said, shit.
Szczesny,
The-
just there's no. You leave out all the season.
How do you say his first name then?
Wojciech.
Wojciech. As you said, he had just gone pretty much just straight down, stationary. So, not that difficult to go around a player that's stationary,
Mhm.
as opposed to the players coming at you. So go around them, tap it in. There's two Arsenal defenders on the line, but both have gone to either post pretty much.
Yeah.
So the whole centre of the goal is there for you. So I lose a lot of respect for a player that will dive rather than go around and knock it in.
I still think it was Yabi's fault though for losing the ball in such a silly position. Just kind of walking around. He stopped and dwelt and tried to turn back and took forever.
And lost the ball.
And somebody nipped in and
Yeah.
broke into the box.
Yeah. Well, it was just Arsenal played dreadfully anyway in the first half.
Yeah.
Really lackluster. That would probably be a prime example of not being at the pitch of it. Like, how can you start so slowly in such a big game?
So yeah, but but with his diving and he had a lot of harsh tackles, Ramirez kind of was lucky to be on the pitch by the end, and that all started with Giroud went up one end, missed, came down.
Yeah.
I think it was Wilshere who had the ball, and Ramirez stood on his foot,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and then that wound up being
Strike.
the first goal for Chelsea.
Yeah.
So if that hadn't happened, maybe. I mean, Arsenal were starting to come into it, and then they get kicked in the balls.
Yeah, well, I just noticed in that first half, they didn't really close the same way they closed in the second half.
That's
Press, offsides, Walcott seemed to just kind of live there in the first half. So they just didn't really seem to have the intensity that you need, and that, if I was an Arsenal fan, would have been immensely frustrating, because that seems to be a problem for them in a lot of those big games. At Old Trafford earlier on the season, they showed no tempo at all, no desire to win the game until the last 2 minutes when Cazorla scored. So it seems to happen in quite a few big games for them, and I know it's could be quite worrying. Maybe they just need leaders in the dressing room or something like that, because I can't think of too many players that you think of your Roy Keanes or BBRs, players like that. I can't really think of too many Arsenal players like that.
Well, Walcott's been talking in the press about how the team need to realise how good they are. So is he the leader? Like, I thought he could have played. This would have been the ideal game to play him through the centre against Ivanovic and Cahill, because Cahill's going to have Giroud and Cole is going to have Walcott out wide, but they were lacking options out wide.
Yeah,
With Gervinho away and Oxlade-Chamberlain
On the
injured.
bench.
he's sick,
Yeah, yeah.
and Podolski sick.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call Walcott a leader. If I was sitting in a dressing room and Theo Walcott's out shouting at me, I'd probably laugh. I
But
wouldn't.
he's the best player.
He's a leader on the pitch. If you look at what he's doing at the moment, but
By effort. The way Tevez used to be with City, like, he couldn't talk to you because he didn't
Can't
speak the same
yeah.
language, but he'd just get up and do things and keep trying that,
So
kind of driving you forward like that.
He's more of a David Beckham kind of leader than a Vieira kind of leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tottenham won. Man United won.
What?
I don't know. I just left that more abruptly than I would have liked. I don't know why. The weather kind of made it a bad game, the Tottenham Man United game. It was passing wasn't great. Nobody's really dribbling. Just seemed like a heavy pitch.
Yeah. Although it's an entertaining game at the same time, though.
I mean, the timing of the second goal made it a good game, I suppose.
Well, Tottenham were pressing up until that point. I have to say, for the first time I can remember this season, disagree with Gary Neville. I know. Big. What was that? You kind of held your breath.
I took that big breath in, and it left less room inside of me. So
Something inside just like, I need to get out of here.
can't stay in here any longer. Can't stick it.
What was your point?
You know,
disagree with Gary Neville.
You know, he was. I think it was on Monday Night Football. He was blaming the Gea for the goal, or De Gea.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was his fault.
I did. He did the thing he's been doing all week, and he did it again in this one. Maybe not. No.
Just the Tottenham to go, or
Yeah, no, that wasn't his
for
fault.
the punch is in.
No.
He didn't get it far enough, because Gary Neville had this thing where he's saying he stops the goal, like he stops the video after the goal scored, and Welbeck, Vidic, I think Evra, and I think Ferdinand are all glaring at De Gea and saying, "You're an idiot and you've cost us 2 points." But Raphael was so poor when the ball was out on the left hand side for that goal. It was shocking. He kind of thought, I think Valencia had won the ball, and he burst off to make a counter attack. But if you're a right back, when you're 1-0 up in injury time, just kick it up. Like, that's why Van Persie is told to stand up. You just stand up there and you be the outlet. And it wasn't even clear that we had the ball, and Raphael went off running, then realised that we didn't have the ball and made no great attempt to actually get back to his man. So that was the first thing. Then I think there was no real actual effort to kind of stop the ball coming in from the other side. So that's 2 mistakes before he even comes to De Gea, who then had to try and punch through first Nemanja Vidic and then Cocker. He was reaching over the two of them to punch the ball. So maybe he should have stayed in his line, but I thought it was very harsh to blame him.
That was a bit harsh. Although he did do the thing where a shot came in and he punches it back into absolutely the wrong area earlier in the game. They just got away with it.
Which shot was that?
It came in from the right side and he punched it out and it nearly fell to Defoe, but he didn't. Defoe,
okay.
I think, put it over or wide or something.
Yeah, but I thought he had a great game in general. Like, he made a great save from Bale when he shot through the crowd. Like, those shots are very difficult to actually save. So, well, I would guess if I was a goalkeeper. But so I wouldn't be too harsh on him after that one. And
Owen, both clubs probably would have been happy with a point before kickoff.
Yeah, they would have taken it, but considering that United played probably better than Tottenham, they would have rather the 3 points at the end of the game. And Spurs were lucky to get that goal, I think. The mistake at the back I'd say it was Raphael's mistake rather than De Gea's. So, yeah, they...
so right backs, what you call it, union or something.
Are you a right back?
No, Gary Neville.
Oh, right,
yeah. Agger got stick for not marking Van Persie for first goal against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago, and it was Wisdom's fault for standing off ever for the cross. So.
There we go. Have we noticed something here?
I don't know.
Well,
Richard Keys today on the radio was saying that maybe Gary Neville has some kind of agenda because he wants to stick up for English players.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that is because he slated Rio Ferdinand a few weeks back.
Well, he's not an England player anymore.
Well, ex-teammate,
Yeah.
But
no,
anyway,
I think
maybe
he's talking about in terms of players he's going to work with in his role as a coach for England.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's just a human and has an opinion, and maybe those opinions can contradict each other from time to time.
I'm still a fan of Gary Neville as a pundit, anyway. Southampton 0, Everton 0. Good first result for Pochettino, but they played no different to how they would have under Adkins. Can you expect big things from a manager in the first game? Or
well, he only had 3 days, and probably didn't get great training sessions with all the snow and all. So,
I never thought of it.
Also, he seems to have a very lenient policy with the old bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
I love how the fans picked up on that straight away.
Yeah.
I would have just thought, he might need to get stitches, but no. They knew exactly where he went.
I like the way the commentator said he's gone to answer the call of nature, and my instant thought was, that's a pee. My first thought was it was a pee, and then you're thinking, when you have to pee, the more you need to do it, the harder it is. The more pressure people put on you.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody walks into a bathroom at the wrong time, it's going to just stop you at your tracks.
Yeah.
Just because it'll unsettle you. Whereas, if you're doing the other thing, which the fans were singing, it'll speed it up. More pressure, more nerves, out you go.
Fire!
So he came back quick enough, so I think it was number 2.
Yeah, the smile on his face.
When they were singing.
But also, beggars the question, did he wash his hands?
Oh, he's wearing gloves.
Did he take off his gloves?
Oh. Well, I think this gives us an excellent chance to bring back up the Gary Neville incident. Did you actually see the video? I think I put it up on the page before. Gary Neville, or not Gary Neville, Gary Lineker.
Oh,
when he crapped himself and he was dragging his arse around like a dog.
I didn't actually. I kind of saw it in the name of the video, but I didn't actually watch it. Is that widely known before this?
I think, I heard about it on in other places. It was at a big tournament as well.
It was the World Cup in 1990.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm sure people picked up on it the time.
Well, was he about to take a penalty or something? Or did he just have an upset stomach?
I don't know. He must upset stomach. Where is that? In Italy?
Yeah, Italian 90, yeah.
Got some bad pasta or something.
It must be.
That is Italianist.
Anyway, what else was I going to say? Yeah, Southampton actually possibly could have had a penalty as well. Probably would have come away with a win from that. You see when this stand just blatantly pushed Yoshida.
Yeah. And the referee saw it and was kind of like...
Just looked at it and went, no.
Yeah.
I'd like to see those given more.
Yeah.
I know you could say, well, you'd say soft penalty, but I'd still like to see them given.
What right does he have to push him like?
He has no right to put his hands on anybody.
But Especially when they're heading away from goal.
Silly. Anyway, we're going to call it a break there because Owen needs to loo. He doesn't really. I just
Better wash your hands.
I just made that up. Yeah, take off your gloves. Anyway, we'll be back in a sec. So we're back. Everybody's pooped, and now we're going to talk about football some more. We're going to.
I didn't wash my hands.
Arsenal are playing West Ham in the league tonight, and so by the time you hear this, it will have been played. So we're just going to guess at what happened there. So
Good result, wasn't it?
I reckon, yeah. Theo, amazing.
Once again.
Yeah.
Joe Cole ran that show.
Andy Carroll scoring that. Oh, yeah.
Let's not be ridiculous here. Next Tuesday, we're also going to skip the FA Cup stuff this weekend because it's too much. We don't know what we're talking about. Tuesday, Aston Villa at home to Newcastle, and kind of a possible relegation 6-point, our first real one of the season.
It's either Villa bounce back spectacularly from humiliation against Bradford, or Newcastle will win that game. And I would suspect it'll be Newcastle that wins that game.
Yeah, we suspect you've been backing Newcastle a lot lately, and you've been wrong a lot.
But I just don't see it with Villa.
Mm.
I just don't see it. What other options
I suppose Bradford beat them last night.
Well, they lost 2-1, but Bradford hit the crossbar twice. So, like, how do you lose 2 games, or nearly lose 2 games to Bradford?
Who were 3 divisions below you?
And also, I have very little faith in Villa to win any matches.
But Dunn could be back. Colaccini could be gone, although it's looking like he's staying now.
Which have also got a new centre half.
Yeah. What's his name from?
Double bar in the name.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear proper commentators try and get this guy's name out.
Yeah. No, I fancy Newcastle there, but Richard Dunn comes back, how long has he been out? So he's going to need a few games. So it's looking like Villa are going to take one of those 3 spots. So no, I fancy Newcastle get 3 points there. We'll go 2-1.
Hooray!
Yeah, I reckon Newcastle as well. Too strong for a weak defence.
Cisse, you reckon?
Cisse, I reckon, will score, yeah.
Are Newcastle good with the old set pieces?
If Kabay is playing.
Yeah.
Although he did pick up an injury in the Reading game, so.
But who have you got to actually go and belt it in? Like
Cisse.
Yeah, you want Andy Carroll. What do you want?
Yeah. We wanted Andy Carroll.
10 million, he'll go.
That's
to Newcastle in the summer.
He was saying December again, even though he's at West Ham, he's saying, still like to go back to Newcastle, please.
Gobshite, even though they've agreed 17 million with West Ham. Oh no, I want to go back to Newcastle.
He's right.
It's fair enough.
Yeah.
For him.
Because what he does is, right, he gets drunk in Newcastle and then he has to drive home. He doesn't want to have to drive back to London.
He drinks and drives?
I don't think he drives personally.
Oh, he gets driven.
Yeah, apparently the stories that Kieran Dyer apparently used to get driven to Ipswich. There was the Newcastle club driver used to just drive him to his mum's in Ipswich. Just hang out there. Anyway.
That's like the exact... That's like going from Belfast to Wexford.
Yeah.
On a smaller scale in Ireland.
Yeah. And your man was just paid to sit outside. Hang on. You wait there while I go have a cup of tea with me, man. QPR versus Man City. QPR have been looking very solid at the back, but will they be able to cope with the on-form Silva? Owen.
Well, I don't know if they can cope with the players around Silva as well.
They're built there.
Guerrero's back, yeah. He could be.
What?
They're built there.
There.
Okie doke.
There. Yeah, I think if Xhaka starts, he'd be tough to contain. I can see City winning, just scraping a win though, because I think QPR are they're gonna get a few shock results now in the next few weeks because they beat Chelsea. That was a freak result. I think they're capable of getting one, but not against City.
They're home though, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Home, yeah.
That's on Wednesday night,
Tuesday.
City going to London Tuesday night.
Cold.
Yeah, they're really going to be up for. Could see a result there. At least a draw.
I don't know. City are boring me a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they played really good football against Newcastle. Do you remember that game when Nasri and Silva, Tevez all started and they all played really well? But since then, we just do enough.
Yeah. Mm. No, I can see a result there. Having said that, City will probably win 4 or 5 now. But like Harry Redknapp will have them up for that game. Mm. Is Ryan Nelson actually a big loss?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, they really don't want him to go.
Because is he a character in the dressing room?
Yeah.
Because
Leader. That's why somebody else has signed him as a manager.
Yeah.
His managerial capabilities. He wanted to be a manager 4 or 5 years ago, but he was too young. He said now he's just taking it because it's the only job offer he's got as a manager.
But he's still a player.
I know, yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't get it.
It's just the way it fell, though.
Stoke versus Wigan. Will this be similar to Stoke's game against Swansea?
That'll be a drab encounter.
Wigan won't go there to Stoke and actually do anything.
You don't think so?
No.
Be 0-0 draw.
I think Stoke will win that. Michael Owen to get goal number 2.
Who on, Mickey? Sunderland versus Swansea. This will be a big test for this new Sunderland team who are all of a sudden good. Will they look good against Swansea?
Swansea playing tonight.
And again Saturday.
And again Saturday. So big game for them tonight. It could take its toll. Maybe Sunderland are just taking advantage of all these problems that other teams have.
Yeah. They seem to be getting such a good run of just.
Maybe that's why they look so bad, because they had such a hard run.
Oh no! Ooh.
Interesting.
Think about that.
But I'm actually going to go for maybe a draw on that one.
Scoring draw, I'd say.
Yeah.
4-4.
6-all.
Then on the Wednesday, Arsenal are at home to Liverpool. And the games are coming thick and fast for Arsenal now. Liverpool haven't beaten a team above them in the league this season, I don't think.
No one in the top 10, yeah.
Is this their chance?
I think so, yeah. The way they're playing, they've won a couple of wins.
Was that a cough or were you scoffing?
No, stop, sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
Seems to be.
Excuse me.
It seems to be the place to do it, the Emirates, because they won there last season, and things were looking up. So I don't know. I think they might get a result there.
And Sturridge against Mertesacker.
If he starts.
Question.
Yes.
Are the Liverpool fans being charged £62 for their tickets in the away section? And also, question number 2, are you offended if they aren't? Because that means you're not a Category 8 fixture.
Owen, as a Liverpool fan, what do you think?
Actually, funnily enough, I was offered tickets to this match because it's gone on general sale because a lot of the members sent them back. But I think they're £50-something, which is just as bad, really.
So,
Category B, it sounds
Category B.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It's still pretty good for Liverpool, who were.
Well, Category C is Reading and.
Oh, well, then it's not that good.
Yeah.
I'd be a bit insulted. If I was
Maybe they've reduced the Category A, you never know.
in the space of a week.
No, I couldn't see that happening.
No. I think the linesmen will be let the players get down there and thank them.
Can't believe he got a ban for that.
That was outrageous.
Yeah.
The FA's reasoning was they didn't want him out in the spotlight, so we'll just publish that he's got a ban.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
What do we think of Per Mertesacker collecting all the Arsenal fines?
Oh, yeah.
You what?
You not hear about this?
Yeah.
All the Arsenal fines got published. There's like a picture on Twitter of just a notice in the Arsenal dressing room of like, if you do this, you get X amount of fine. So if you don't attend a home fixture, say if you're not playing, if you don't attend a home fixture without permission, it's £1,000 fine.
That was the biggest one, I think.
Yeah. Then there's fines for being late for training, being late for physio session, bringing newspapers into dressing room, all this kind of stuff, not wearing proper shoes in the dressing room, stuff like that. And fines payable to Per Mertesacker.
What?
So Per Mertesacker.
It must be like Barcelona, where Pep used to take the money and organise a party with the money.
Yeah.
Well, it's just discipline, like.
Yeah.
But
I
Per
would
Mertesacker.
assume he's obviously taken over. It used to be Van Persie's job to organise.
Maybe it's just a
Stuff.
roster or something.
Well, no, it's just probably season by season.
Yeah.
It's like the shop steward or whatever. But Wenger said they asked Wenger why Per Mertesacker was collecting the fines, and Wenger said that the Germans are the only ones in Europe making money, so they could trust him with it.
That's nice. Bit of satire there from Arsenal. Next game, Everton versus West Brom, and these two are likely to be wrestling kind of 6th, 7th. They'll both want to lay down a marker, like workmen prepping a road to be resurfaced.
What?
Yeah, that line would have worked better if I'd read it properly. They'll both be looking to lay down a marker like workmen prepping a road to be resurfaced. Cones
Very good, yeah.
You know what? I don't
It's
want.
not
to
very good, Owen. It was pretty awful.
I don't want that joke to ever resurface.
Boo! Well, I've been zinged.
Everton aren't actually that far away from fourth place.
No.
So a win there, and you could.
I don't see them beating Spurs and Arsenal.
No, but like makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Or Liverpool.
And Liverpool. Like,
Liverpool
he doesn't see.
Have 9th written all over them.
Well, they're level on points with
Liverpool
Arsenal.
are picking up.
As we stand, Liverpool are level with Arsenal.
They have
Somehow.
9th. No, as we stand, what time is it? Have Arsenal kicked off? Because they're due a
No,
point.
Arsenal kick off and have our.
The due point as
Yes,
soon as
they're
it
due a
kicks
point
off.
as soon as it
Yes!
kicks off.
They're 1 point behind.
Anyway, Norwich versus Tottenham. Apparently, Holtby has signed for Spurs.
He has.
But
For the summer.
during the summer, but apparently they're trying to get him in earlier. They're offering $1 million or $2 million
Yeah.
to Schalke. But
Yeah,
he played
that-
very well against Arsenal. I think he'd be a good signing.
Yeah, because of Sandro's injury.
Yeah.
So, I don't see how there could be a problem. He's already gone. Like, Schalke aren't going to win the German league, so let him go.
And Norwich were linked with Gary Hooper during the week. I think Danny Graham should go there. I think that'd be the best place for him.
They're talking about Grant Hull going there.
To Norwich.
No, to sorry, Grant Hull going to Celtic as part of that deal.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, well,
That'd be good.
read that
Suppose
somewhere.
Celtic need Hooper for Champions League.
Yeah.
For those
They're-
two games against Juve before they get knocked out.
They're holding out for 8 million. Apparently, Norwich have offered 6. So
He's worth 8. He's probably worth more.
yeah, but when
But
you're
Celtic
Celtic,
have no money.
yeah. So I would like to see him even stay, because when are you going to get Norwich are going to be in that stage of the Champions League? So
Yeah.
I'd like to see him stay at Celtic, but
Mm.
I don't know. That seems a strange one. Is he really going to score that many goals for Norwich?
He's a very good goal scorer.
Premier League, though. He was.
Oh, I'm sick of this. Oh,
No,
Premier
he was
League,
in
though.
the Championship, and he obviously was a scorer, but would he have made that transition from
I think he
Championship
would have.
to Premier League?
There were,
Is he as good
there were
as-
Premier League clubs sniffing around him at that time.
But look at Jelic. Is he as good as Jelic?
Nearly.
Probably scored the same amount of
Probably
goals.
won't be as good as Jelic, but
Jelic is struggling this season
Jelic played brilliant last season, though.
for the 6 months.
I
he
mean,
was in the
people
league.
have cottoned on to Jelic, but he hasn't always had Fellaini with him. He hasn't always had Morales. He hasn't always had the best supply line, the optimal supply line.
But he fluffed his lines against Southampton.
Oh, one thing.
One relevant thing.
Stop zinging me, Mark. Fulham versus West Ham. The whole mid-table malaise is starting to wash out for me now. I don't really care about anybody else going to be relegated or qualify for Europe.
That's why you need to stick with the fantasy football.
Oh, that thing. I forgot about that.
These games are
Completely forgotten
huge.
about that as well.
I have Joe Cole and Joey O'Brien on my team. They both play tonight and they both better score. Mark needs the points.
Joey O'Brien isn't going to score, Mark.
He's
Joey
got two-
O'Brien is one of
two
the highest scoring defenders, I'll have you know. High scoring chief defenders.
Ah.
in the world.
Do you watch that Premier League fantasy club thing?
No, because I hate Paul Merson.
Yeah,
He
same.
says everything twice. Says everything twice.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. If you watch it, he says everything twice. Stop saying it.
Yeah, he's very.
Jimmy 2 times.
Man United versus Southampton.
Paulie 2 times.
Man United versus Southampton.
Home win.
I said it twice there. You kind of missed it because you talked in between. Southampton's players will be looking to impress the new manager, but will that be enough?
At Old Trafford.
No.
Well,
They do have Gaston Ramirez.
Yes, they do. Actually, I remember what I was going to say, and it doesn't really matter that it's on the show because it's relevant. I was going to have the Nigel Adkins should have been sacked, should he have stayed, because playing devil's advocate, I think they spent the 7th highest in Europe. They spent about 30 million.
Wow.
Southampton, and so
Well, Rodriguez was expensive.
and so they were 16th, 15th when he was sacked. If you spend that much money, 7th highest in Europe, do you expect to be higher? I thought it was harsh now,
I thought,
but I'm just putting out the other argument.
But I just assume they had the plan pretty much since they
Since they
took
got
over, and just been trying to negotiate with Pochettino since then, and just decided we can't wait anymore.
When did that lad leave Espanyol?
Like 2 months ago, maybe six weeks ago, he got sacked by Espanyol, and
They must have known he was being a bit.
they were bottom of La
Bottom.
Liga when he was sacked,
Oh,
and he left in tears, saying that he can still turn it around. I don't think he would have.
Yeah. I don't know. There must be a reason they rate.
Obviously, it's the way he plays, probably.
Yeah.
He
But
played
he
in a
played-
World Cup, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Took Michael Owen down.
Nigel Adkins was originally a masseuse or massager person.
Really?
Yeah, for his first the first management team he was involved with he was masseuse,
Fair play to him.
and he worked his all the way. That was in the Welsh league, I think, and he worked his all.
He
all the
learned
way.
off the other managers.
Well, he didn't really get the rub of the green when it came to.
Okay, Rudder Green, yeah. Because I was
Would
focusing on
help
the
if
word
he had
green,
Robert
and I was
Green.
like, puns for green. No, it's rub. Rub is the key word.
Only you had Robert Green at that club. That would have been better. Zaha looks likely to sign for United and then go back on loan to Crystal Palace.
The
Mark,
football
do you
league.
remember what you said about Zaha back in November?
No.
It was when he got his call up for England. You were just very negative about
Oh
the
yeah.
lad.
Well, I still would be quite negative because what's he done?
You don't think 12 million? You don't think he's worth 12 million?
Not many players in the Championship.
See, if no offense, Newcastle go to buy him. Newcastle don't pay 12 million.
10.
Sunderland.
He's a very high quality player.
He is, but it's just Man United will always the price will be more. Football League, by the way, are trying to block this loan and back for some reason. They disagree with it, which I don't understand.
Yeah, look,
He's their player, like so.
Yeah.
They can choose to sell that player, and then they can choose to loan back that player.
You're not allowed to sign for 3 clubs in the same year, apparently.
Same
But
club,
it's
though.
the same club, exactly.
Yeah.
I think they just don't want to see him bought and then say, all right, we're gonna spend this amount, a huge amount of money, which it is for a Championship club, and then not play for the first 6 months. We're gonna get rid of you for the first 6 months. That's their thinking, even though it's good for him.
Good for him. It's
And
good for
Palace.
both clubs.
Yeah.
Are United, and this is something I learned from basically playing Football Manager, when you sign a player, can you not just go, right, your
We
player
all
will
sign
join
it, yeah.
club in June?
It happens in Football Manager.
They didn't pull that out of their hat.
But they did it with Smalling. They signed him and then loaned him back.
The Fulham, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they're trying to block it, so that's what's holding up. But going back to that England thing, well, if you're an international, a big country unlike ourselves who gives anybody a cap or a call up,
Connor Salmon.
Feed the fish and he will score.
What the hell?
It's beyond me.
Couldn't get in a Birmingham club to get relegated.
Anyway, surely for England, Aaron Lennon should be ahead of Zaha until he actually gets an assist for Man United. Like,
That's what I said back in November. But
or Aaron Lennon, even like established players like Downing, say, should be ahead of him just by the fact that they've actually done something and you know what they can do.
I think for a friendly though, you got to bring in.
But you got to bring at the top. Like there's players.
But this lad is on his way to the top.
Yeah, but there are players in the Premier League who haven't got a chance yet that you can play.
There's always a risk with English players coming from the Championship, spending big money.
But Lennon played in the World Cup.
No, not Lennon specifically, but
Downing played in the
But
World Cup.
Connor-
no, but like there are younger players in the Premier League.
But Sunderland paid 10 million for Connor Wickham, and he's barely kicked the ball for them in 2 years. And like 10 million from who was it, Ipswich? I think they signed him from.
Yeah,
or one of those clubs, and he was great in the Championship, and then
Well,
better than
injuries have
Zaha.
been holding him back.
Who?
Injuries have been holding
Yeah,
Wickham
that's fair enough. But
back. Zaha, I'm
They
backing
should be
it.
trying to
I'm calling it now.
put him in the England team.
He's going to be a good player. It's the end of Nani as well.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, St. Petersburg will play the most, so hopefully we'll sell him to them.
Although I'm sure he's realised the problems that Hulk has had and gone, maybe I'm not going to play in Russia.
Money talks, though. So, do you think De Gea is going to get sold to Real Madrid?
No,
No.
not Real. Maybe Barcelona. Because he played.
No, because Valdez is better than him.
Also, is leaving.
Also, apparently,
Valdez leaving?
yeah, he said he wants to go in the summer.
New challenge. Well, he
New challenge at Bayern Munich.
yeah, probably, yeah.
No, Neuer's too good to get rid of. Unless they can get big money for Neuer.
The thing is, he's not signed the contract. 2014 ends, so they're going to get cash in on him this summer.
Yeah.
And there's talk that it's either De Gea, they spend 20 million on De Gea, or they straight swap for Pepe Reina, which is...
Yeah, by the way, a nice deflection there. Yeah, they're going to buy De Gea, whereas the vultures are swarming around Anfield looking for Pepe Reina. Like, that's what's actually going on.
Yeah.
No, they don't want Reina.
Reina's a Barcelona lad.
I
I know.
Whereas,
But he's not very good.
he's better than Valdez.
No, he isn't.
He is.
Valle's an incredible shot stopper.
No. I'm going to start. Right,
Hang
this
on.
is my new thing. Rain has made some big mistakes this year, and I'm going to.
So has Valdez and so has Casillas.
No.
Hang on.
No.
Pepe Reina has become more equipped to block Ryan Shaw across from standing on top of him. You don't get that in Spain, so Valdez doesn't have that. Reina does have that skill where he can catch a ball over a Stoke defender.
Reina panics.
Well,
I see Valdez going to Arsenal anyway, so
Ooh.
could be enough
because himself was tweeting that it was an Arsenal or a London club.
Himself being Graham Hunter.
Yes.
Sorry. Mark just waved the book that you can't see in this audio medium.
He tweeted anyway that it was a London club that he was looking for, and I don't see him replacing Petr Cech. Don't see him as the next Julio Cesar. Jackson Lyon's fine. Don't see him going to West Ham. Arsenal are the only one that have questionable goalkeepers.
Yeah, I suppose. The thing about Valdez is he's a player. He plays football. His passes are good. He's not just a keeper. Whereas Reina doesn't have that.
They're both bald, so they got that going on.
In fairness,
One of them by choice.
Reina sees himself as a sweeper keeper, as he can play it out. He can play with it.
He's wrong.
Okay.
I think
His dad said it as well.
I think Valdez is better. I just remember watching a El Clasico during the Reich years. It could have been maybe one of Valdez's first Clásicos. I'm just thinking, how is this guy making these saves?
I always thought he was pushing Casillas. If Casillas wasn't as good as Casillas is, I think Valdez would be a World Cup winning goalkeeper.
But why
and Reina wouldn't.
Why would he be third choice for 3 tournaments now?
Is he third choice?
Yeah, Reina. When Casillas didn't play in the other tournaments, when they gave him rest, Reina played in all 4 games over the 3 tournaments.
I don't know.
That's a good stat.
But I reckon Reina's gone.
There's so many Spanish players.
He was good up to like 2 years ago, but I think he's gone.
Yeah, he has made mistakes a lot of mistakes this season. In fairness,
yeah.
There's so many Spanish players that are actually like so good, but they haven't got medals. Like
Silva. Silva.
Even Arteta never really made an impact in the Spanish squad. Like.
Never kicked the ball for him. Cazorla has 2 Euros. He didn't get to the World Cup, but he played in both Euros.
Well, I feel like an idiot.
Played actually with Reina against Greece in the 3rd game in Euro 2008.
Right. Count. There we have it. That's all you need to know about football for this week, I think. If you want to join the debate, you can place a comment on the relevant boxes on YouTube and Facebook pages, or you can set the agenda all on your own. If you spot something you want to talk about, just leave a comment on our Facebook page, and we'll either respond to it there, or talk about it on the pod. You were expecting something bigger there, weren't you?
Birthday!
Birthday, friends! Anyway, say goodbye, lads.
Bye-bye.
See you now.
Yeah, they obviously...
It's very...
If you bring in a new manager the day after, you've already decided weeks ago, we're bringing this guy in, we're just waiting for a good moment to sack him.
And it wasn't.
And they picked the worst possible moment. Mark, can I get a mic up to your face?
No.
Oh wait, well, you're this guy. Talk.
No. Pochettino, Mauricio.
Everything is very crackly. Well, if I bring that down, then I have to speak louder. Is that still crackly? If I do that, yeah. Mark, talk.
No. Yes. Barca, the making of the greatest team in the world.
Don't just read what's in front of you.
But it's me speaking.
Owen, talk to me.
Blue square.
You're dead.
Grey square. That's grey, isn't it? You call that grey. And so that.
No, that's grey, yeah.
But what about this one here?
That'd be sort of a light blue.
It's a good square. It's not a grey square.